Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Final Plan, the show each and every Friday where James and I run down our FPL teams for the weekend. My name's Suj.
My name is James.
This is Planet FPL. So, game week 14, just making sure I get the numbers right.
Makes a change.
Got the name of the show right.
Makes a change.
It's because I call everything else The Final Plan, so once a week I'm going to get it right. It's like a clock that's broken. Twice a day, it shows the right time. Game week 14 ahead of us. Really interesting game week this week because I would say that majority of the big teams have very winnable fixtures. City should be winning, Liverpool should be winning, Spurs should be winning, Chelsea should be winning, Arsenal should be winning,
Leicester
should be winning, and United should be winning. So,
and you know them seven teams are not all winning, mate.
No, they won't all win. I mean, if it played out to form, there could be some monster scores this weekend. They really could.
Yeah, I think captaincy's quite big this week.
Whilst there are a lot of captaincy options, I think it's going to boil down to the majority of players. I'd say 60-70% of live players will probably end up with either Vardy or Mane. The ownership on both of those two is like high 30s, 40s. So you're tossing up between the two.
I think there were three big candidates, which is now two. I don't think you're going to be captaining Tammy Abraham now.
No. So or any other Chelsea player.
At time of recording, we don't really know if it's anything more than just bruising, and he could well play tomorrow against West Ham. I really don't understand why so many people have already made the move to dramatically come off. Although we had a conversation off camera yesterday, didn't we? And I said, I was kind of thinking beyond West Ham and Villa that I might move away myself and just make some different moves, possibly, because I don't think Chelsea's run's that brilliant beyond these two home games. Yeah, we don't know at the moment, do we? No. But you're not going to captain Tammy Abraham now.
No, definitely not. So how many free transfers do you have going into this weekend? Just the one?
Well, I've obviously already made the one last weekend's Timu Pukki to Jordan Ayew.
Which I know now.
I have one FT left. Well done, congratulations. If Abraham's past fit, I'm going to be going either Dale Stephens or Todd Cantwell to Wilfried Zaha. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Get it done.
Before the deadline this week.
Yeah.
So it's a game week 14 move.
Yeah. And I might even leave him as first sub actually this week away to Burnley. If Abraham's definitely out, I might rethink it. I might still make the same move. I don't know. My instinct is unless it's 100% Abraham's going to be out for a little while, I don't think I'll be making that move. One of the things I said to you is I've actually got the money in the bank. I could go Abraham straight to Jesus.
Yeah.
And then I could bin off sort of Mendy for Charlie Taylor in the midweek and then make that same move for Zaha then. So, but yeah, I've kind of decided, I listened to a few people this week. Oh, yeah, Zaha, you look at his numbers. And I saw enough of a glimmer last week. I'm going to get this done. I need a differential in there now. I've got to have something different.
I don't think it's too bad a shout. How much is Wilfried Zaha now?
6.6.
6.6 is a very good price for Wilf Zaha.
6.6, about 7% ownership.
That's a very, very good price for Wilf Zaha. I'm sitting on two free transfers going into this week because I only made the one last week. And this week, for the first time this season, or second time this season, actually, I'll make two transfers. I've only made one apart from wildcard week so far. At the moment, Callum Wilson is on his way out, and that will be for Raul Jimenez, who scored again last night. So 15 goals for the season so far. Listen to any pod or follow anyone on Twitter that's stats based, and they'll give you a dozen stats of why Jimenez is a good pick right now. So I'm not gonna regurgitate all of those, but Jimenez is a good pick, and 7.5, keep him for a while. I don't see myself chopping and changing. There's only one Europa League group game left now, and
we're through anyway,
and then it's next year now, isn't it? So there'll be a nice run now over Christmas, and they've quietly crept up to what, fifth in the table, sixth, is it fifth or sixth? Fifth, yeah, exactly. So Jimenez is coming in. The other move that I'm going to make, a little more controversial, is Mount to Pulisic. I'm not actually that worried about Mount, whereas a lot of FPL players are, is he dropped? Is he not going to get back in the team? Whatever. If you don't have money to make a move in any which way, then I wouldn't worry about it. Like Mount is A-OK. But Pulisic, from an attacking point of view, the number of shots he's having in the box and getting forward and stuff, I think is going to actually really do well in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So Mount to Pulisic and Callum Wilson to Raul Jimenez is my 2 transfers for this week, which leaves me one problem, if I want to call it a problem, which is still Yarmolenko still in my team. Where he'll be first sub again this week. And I have 0.1 to move him on to someone else, to a 6 million rated player.
Okay, cool.
I think your move for Wilf Zaha is an interesting one. It's a chalk and cheese marmite, isn't it, within the community on whether Zaha is a good shout. But that price makes it a punt worthwhile.
I like the fact that at the moment that move, if I make that move, either Stevens or Cantwell to Zaha, leaves me a little short of Tielemans and Pulisic.
Yeah.
So I haven't got the
or
Maddison.
Mind,
so I've got
really?
I haven't. If I make that one move, I haven't got the excuse to say, "Oh, I particularly picked them over them." I want to get him in. I want to get him in for the start of this 8 fixtures that they've got. I'm convinced that it was interesting to I listened to Tom and Nick yesterday with Josh, who they had on. It was really good. And there's an underlying chat, which I think they could have delved into a little bit more, was about Talisman, which they've obviously done some great work on before. And if Palace are going to have a really good December, like, he's the man.
Yeah, he is.
The only concern for me is still a little bit, where's he at headspace with January next month? Does he want to leave? Is he going to stay for the season? I don't feel anybody's really going to come up with the money January that's desperate. Maybe Arsenal.
Maybe, but if the talk is that Jordan Sancho is going to be available in the summer, people might hold their budget back to pick him up instead. So why would you waste 50 on Zaha and you chuck in an extra 10 or 15?
You ain't getting Zaha for 50.
You think Zaha's going to be what?
70 upwards, mate.
Yeah, so same price as Jordan Sancho, he's definitely younger.
I don't know who this Jordan Sancho is.
Jadon Sancho.
Yeah,
My
better.
apologies, Jadon. Yeah, so I don't know if people will be all over that. I mean, with Sancho, I reckon that it'll be the likes of Manchester United that will want to put the money up for him, because they always have this need to want to get that big name signing in the way that they did with Alexis Sanchez. And so, yeah, inevitably, I think Manchester United will pay slightly over the odds just to get that deal over the line, which means, because Zaha's not going back to Manchester United, I think that's one club we can rule out that would go in for Wilf Zaha.
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, basically, what's going to happen in January is, having barely spent a penny under Pochettino's 5.5-year tenure, Spurs are going to spend 190 million on Sancho and Zaha, mate.
Can you imagine that? I think, I mean, that would be more surprising than when Arsenal pulled out Pepe from nowhere, because they were notoriously tight, and they picked up the defender that Saliba that they sent back on loan, and then Pepe comes out of nowhere at 80 million. You're like, what? These guys don't spend money. It would be even more surprising if Spurs spent more than 50 million.
For clarity, Spurs won't be buying either of those two players. We should briefly talk about Arsenal.
Yes, I'd like to wish I saw this on Twitter, so I'm not going to take credit for this. I wish all our Gooners a Merry Christmas.
It's still November.
Awful.
He's we believe there's quite a serious meeting at Arsenal, and those who were keeping today, we expect that, who were keeping faith with Emery appear to have had their heads turned, probably by
an empty stadium, mate.
Well, that will have effect on the people upstairs going, hang on a minute, what's going on there? Because it wasn't just empty, was it? It was really empty.
This Brighton at home is the next home game, I think, right?
Yeah, I love the fact that it's Premier League game midweek and it's still Thursday.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
You know, the only English team was to win in the last 72 hours? English Premier League team.
To win in the last 72 hours.
Yeah. Spurs.
Yeah.
The only English team to win in Europe this week, mate.
Yeah.
Remarkably. He's dead
made
man.
Hard work of it in the beginning, but
I can do that again in a sec. Emery's dead man walking is absolutely finished. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if they sacked him today. I don't see any point in them keeping him there for Norwich. It might be better off getting like Lundberg's at the club, Lundberg and Edu take the team at the weekend or something like that.
Well, they'll put their hand in their pocket to get Arteta, won't they? That's the real talk. If like with West Ham and Everton, I don't know who would come in, but with Arsenal, I really think Arteta is a real front runner. Although I don't think that's the right appointment for them. I think they should be looking at Allegri or someone with more experience. But we
don't really know if they're going to come up with the big money to approach someone. I mean, I think that's the route they should go down. Is trying to go for like an Allegri or someone like that.
Possibly, maybe. Pellegrini's still sitting tight at West Ham. You know what? If he's staying, he's staying. Let's just back him. I mean, what else can we do?
Well done, good boy.
We've got no choice, have we? Really? Give him. If they haven't made the decision now, then I don't think there's any point in making a decision until after Arsenal now, because we've got Chelsea and Arsenal as two of the next three. Just ride it out. See what happens with Wolves away. And if we get 0 points from the next three, then I think that's 2 points from 10. That's fucking bad. That would be over a season 8 points. So then he's got to go.
Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what 2 points from 8 games like. What, you on 2 from 7?
2 from 7.
Well, when you get beat at Chelsea tomorrow, come and give me a cuddle and I'll explain to you how it feels.
Is that what Spurs did?
Well, it was the one day Ramos, wasn't it? The 2 points from 8 games start.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we'll see what happens with him. But Pellegrini's sticking around. Silva's obviously not his way. I agree with not letting Silva go as well, only because getting a new manager in and then getting a slap in the face of Leicester and Liverpool is pointless.
Agreed. On Spurs, flattered to deceive again. Olympiacos, bang average team, ended up 2-0 down to him in 20 minutes.
Yep.
And then Mourinho did something that Spurs fans haven't seen for a very, very long time, which was like, I'm going to make a substitution after 25 minutes.
Yep.
Fuck this. I've got it wrong.
But you
Let's
took Eric
change it.
Dyer off.
Yeah, for Christian Eriksen.
Because you were lacking creativity moving forward?
But he looked at it and went, we're 2-0 down. Let's sod it. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Basically,
Because obviously
he played Eriksen centre midfield.
You've lost you're 2-0 down, so let's take a defensive midfielder off, and that could easily have opened up the floodgates.
He could have took anybody off. I think it was more, rather than, obviously it was to try and get back in the game on the night, but I think it was statement.
Right.
It was statement to the team. It's like, wait in here. He did that a lot in his first season. Like they might be 1-0 down at half time, Chelsea, and they'd come out for the second half and he's made 3 subs.
Yeah.
Be like, Jesus, it's not messing. Spurs fans would have been very useful. One real criticism, even when it was going well under Pochettino, was indecisiveness on substitutions. Mm-hmm. He used to wait till like 70 minutes.
It's quite late.
So often, yeah. So, yeah, credit to Jose, all hail and all that shit. But yeah, Spurs have played two very average sides this week, particularly defensively.
Yeah.
And nothing on Tuesday night particularly changed my opinion on you need further assessment on Spurs. And I think the fixture against Bournemouth will probably be our most difficult of the week, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm fully. I mean, I'm sitting on Son right now, and I'm still a believer of Heung-min Son.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
But all the rest at Spurs, maybe less so. I do think that second on the list to consider is Aurier, and then Harry Kane comes into play as well because he's Harry Kane.
Well, the interesting one,
Aubameyang owners, it's such an easy move to go sideways to Kane.
The interesting one, which a few people might have picked up on if they've watched the 2 Spurs games, and particularly so from the game on Tuesday night. Danny Rose, fitness-wise, is in big trouble. So I think to compensate for that, he stayed very, very defensively. I didn't notice it so much in the West Ham game with Ben Davis, but certainly Tuesday night against Olympiacos, Danny Rose only went forward unless he was running onto space, whereas Aurier really did push on the right-hand side. And I just think it's because Rose's recovery is awful at the moment.
Right.
And Ben Davis is going to be out for quite a while. Danny Rose is not an FPL asset. Honestly, forget it, because there's not going to be attacking returns there.
Yeah, I mean, Aurier's cheaper than him anyway.
But people might look at it over this period and go, right, Danny Rose is going to play the next 8 games. I don't think he is. You'd see either an integration of Ryan Sessegnon into the team, or you'll see Vertonghen on occasion play at left back.
Let's talk about differential team.
Yeah.
Average week last week.
Yeah, but it's ticking along. Do you know what? When I look at this team, I really like it, man.
It's still beating my my regular FPL team. Let's just pull it up on the table. We are going to roll this week, or do you want to make a transfer this week? Let's pull it up.
I want to make a transfer, and sorry to be boring and keep the thread going, but I want to go Richarlison to Wilfried Zaha. It's only going to take one. He's about 7% ownership. Imagine
Yeah.
he gets a 2-goal return at Burnley with them fixtures coming afterwards. You ain't buying him then, mate.
No.
Be too late. So I want to get him in. However, Jimenez, I think, depending on Abraham news today, is going to be very close. If Abraham gets ruled out, then there'll be quite a surge of movement to Jimenez. Jimenez is about 16% owned.
Right.
Anybody hits 20% ownership, we have to sell.
them. Yeah.
So I'm also conscious at the same time that we go Richarlison to Zaha.
Frees up a little bit of money.
Yeah, it's going to get us up to about 3 million in the bank. And I think if Firmino blanks this weekend, we might be able to nick him in.
We are not in a position to be able to afford Gabriel Jesus with that much money. Jimenez,
Or that, yeah.
Jimenez to Jesus.
Yeah.
Which I think could be a better option.
Should we do if Jimenez hits the tipping point, then should we go -4?
Yeah.
Because we can't. We'd have to go Richarlison to Zaha to
get the
fund the
money.
move to Jesus. Then
To
go
Zaha
Jimenez to Jesus.
And Jesus, and then pray to the Lord.
Yeah. It looks a good squad. I really like it at the moment.
Yeah, it's doing well. Lacazette and Jesus potentially up front with Zaha, Tielemans, Son, and Martial. Pulisic has got to play. He's got to come into the team. And then Mendy, Chilwell, Doherty, who had scored a goal yesterday as well. Alisson, Bellerin, Taylor, Connolly. It's a solid squad all round.
Connolly's
right?
fit again now for Brighton as well.
It's a solid squad all
I
round.
actually think we'd have 5 captaincy options there for this week. And let's say Jimenez or Jesus. I think if we get Jesus, we go Jesus, right?
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
Lacazette, Son, Pulisic, Martial.
Yeah.
You could make a case as a differential to captain any of them in this particular team.
Yeah,
Who would
I
you
can
favour
argue
from that
with-
5? I've busted on Son.
Son and Pulisic, I think, is much of a muchness. I'd probably take Pulisic over Son, but I think I'd go Jesus.
You got no concerns that we walk into tomorrow and Mount's playing instead of Pulisic?
No, I think Pulisic is now nailed on.
Okay.
I think Pulisic, Mount, Willian behind Tammy Abraham or Batshuayi or Giroud is going to be the way that the team's set up. I don't see why he would want to play 3 more defensive-minded midfielders in Kovacic and Jorginho.
Do you think
and
Mount
Kante.
will come back in as well?
Yeah, I think Kovacic or Kante or Jorginho, one of the 3.
Kovacic actually scored for Chelsea in the week for the
Correct.
first time and actually should have got a second straight afterwards
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I
I mean, they've got an embarrassment of riches there at the moment, Chelsea, so...
I'm really conscious of Wolves this weekend. I think Sheffield United might turn them over.
Yeah.
They played on a really heavy pitch last night in Portugal, which had some heavy rain and actually sanded the pitch quite a lot. I know, like, took Jimenez off after 70. He obviously conceded
is at
2 goals
Molineux,
from
man.
3-1 up. Yeah, of
Maybe.
course. And Sheffield United are unbeaten away from home, by the
Yeah,
way.
they are.
It's worth saying. On that, probably a good time to say John Lundstrom absolutely starts for me this weekend.
Correct.
No doubt about it.
Well, he's starting every week now. It's an attacking midfielder as a defender. We've had that conversation, or every podcast has had that conversation forever. I'd go with Son. I'd say Jesus or Son. Yeah, I'm never against captaining Son.
I think if we end up with Jesus, we captain him. Otherwise, you want to go Son, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I favour that. I'm not big for captaining Jimenez with that fixture this weekend. I just can't have any faith in Lacazette or Martial this weekend. I don't think. So Son by default from some good choices gets it. You're right with Richarlison to Zaha.
Yeah.
You allow me to do it.
Yeah, just make it happen.
Just another differential name to
Wait
throw
till
out
tomorrow,
there.
maybe.
Just another differential name to throw out there at the moment. Danny Ings is seeing a little bit of attention. He had the price rise last night up to 6.1.
Yeah, but because it's a 2-game in and out, I'm not so keen.
So they've obviously got Watford at home and the 5:30 fixture tomorrow, and they've got Norwich at home in midweek, which I'm sure is Wednesday. And then they play again on the Saturday. The fear with Ings, if you go back and look at reports from Hassan Hootel in sort of the early summer, was like, this guy's going to struggle to play 3 games a week. Mm-hmm. Now, it might be that he'll play Saturday, play Wednesday, and miss the more difficult Saturday fixture.
But you can never know.
Just another interesting one in terms of budget, and it's also Southampton, is Omofemi played at Arsenal, 4.9 million forward. Seems to have kind of leapfrogs Adams and others in that pecking order there. Might get a little run.
may
It's just another alternative name we don't know the extent of Lys Mousset's injury yet. If you don't want Jordan Ayew, Palace attacking talent, you're not interested in Connolly, might be another one who will see some minutes in the next few weeks. I'd probably say avoid, but one maybe to keep an eye on.
North v South.
It's a disaster.
77 points for my North team last week with a -4, so I ended up on 73. Vardy captaincy, Chris Wood scored, Mane points, De Bruyne points, Robertson points, Pope points, Charlie Taylor points. Decent week all round.
A 45 -4 for my Southern team.
It's an
which
89
from
point gap now.
5 defenders, of which I only started 3. There's 3 points from 5 players there. You can see the problem. You know which of all the teams ranked of the 10 Southern teams I can pick for as the best defensive record so far this season? It's Bournemouth.
Okay.
Right,
I was going to say West Ham because we had that 3 clean sheet streak earlier.
West Ham.
Defensive record, goals conceded or clean sheets?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
After the 3, is it time to get West Ham defensive? No. You did say that at the time,
said, no,
to be fair.
Don't be silly. We don't defend well.
Yeah, of the 10 most Southern teams in the league that I can pick from this Southern team, Bournemouth have conceded the least goals, yeah. I mean, that shows the state of it, mate.
I need to move on Sergio Aguero in this because he's got an unknown date. I can literally go anywhere. So I may go to Raul Jimenez, and that gives me the best part of 5 million to decide what to do with either St. Maximin or Dendoncker or what have you. A lot of options here.
If Abraham's out, I think I'll probably take a 2-week punt on Danny Ings, maybe. I might well be wildcarding this tomorrow. So I've got some players in there that very quickly could become a problem. Like I'd taken a punt on Ozil, which was a stupid thing to do. Mason Mount could become a problem. Tom Heaton's walking into more difficult fixtures. I've got a West Ham player in there. That's a problem. Diop.
Wild card, mate. Wild card.
Yeah, it's potentially coming. That said, you look at the front 3. If they all play, Abraham, Kane and Aubameyang with them fixtures this week, I will captain Harry Kane for that team this week. Who has, I think I saw 20 goals from 21 appearances or something like that this season. But don't forget he's a defensive midfield player.
True. Let's see what happens with the North v South competition, say after Christmas, because it is tough not having City, Liverpool, United, Leicester players.
I've got two. I thought there was one major problem. 2 major problems I'm facing. One is like defensively, it's just a car crash. Like, I'm going to have to go treble Palace for this team and just hope they do the business in December. And the other problem is a captaincy. You're sitting there just like locked on Vardy every week, and he's obviously outscoring any of my options.
Yeah. Let's see when we get to after December to make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe we'll swap a couple of teams. Like you could take Leicester and Wolves, and I'll take Bournemouth and Southampton or something like that, just to spice it up until the end of the year. But we'll see what happens at that point.
Who will be your main captain this weekend?
Vardy. Everywhere that I am looking, whether it's Sky, whether it's my North team, whether it's my regular team, armband is on Vardy whenever he is available.
It would normally be my conscience to just go with the herd. I think I'm going to go Mane.
Yeah, and there'll be plenty that are going with Sadio Mane as well. There'll be plenty that will be going with Sadio Mane.
I literally am just looking at it from the point of view that I think that this weekend Mane will outscore Vardy.
He has the potential to.
And it's more on as shit as Everton will be, they're not taking any hide-ins or anything. I think defensively they're not awful. I think like Schneiderlin and Davis will sit there. They're going to try and low block in front of Leicester. Whereas I think Brighton will just go to Liverpool and they'll try and play. And that's why I'm going to go for Mane.
Yeah. If Mane blanks, that's a long 24 hours waiting to see what Vardy does. And vice versa. If Mane scores, that's a nervous fucking 90 minutes for Vardy owners on the Sunday. Yeah. Go with your gut. Go with who you think will score.
I don't think there's a right or wrong on that. I would probably say if you're desperately unsure on the choice, then I would say go for Vardy. I'm pretty sure Vardy will have the majority of it this weekend.
I really want to captain Son 1 week soon. I mean, if I was ever going to do it, this week's not a bad week to consider it.
Last week against West Ham, wasn't
Bournemouth at home is not a bad shout.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do it because I'm not yet ready to give that confidence to Spurs. But any other matches coming up where he's Burnley at home?
You don't want to know, therefore, that Son scored 4 in his last 2 appearances against Bournemouth. You don't want that kind of stat.
He also got himself sent off in an appearance at Bournemouth at the end of last season. It was away.
That's not true. It's not last 2, is it? Last 2 before that one.
Okay. I remember because I was sitting in a pub in Amsterdam, if you remember, with Kun Karam.
I was sitting in a pub. I was standing in a pub in Tottenham.
Yeah, and we both had Heung-min Son, so I'll never forget Son. But it hurts when Son gets sent off because you know he's just not a red card type player, but he's picked up a few, and then you just any Son owner will never expect to get a yellow or red card off the guy because he's just too nice, isn't he? Really. But
well, he deserved that red card at Bournemouth, but in the previous 2 fixtures against Bournemouth, he'd scored 4 times.
Yeah. That was when was that not when Kane came off injured?
Yeah, so there was the 4-1, and then there was the 5-0 in late December last season at Wembley.
Captain's armband incoming on the Sun.
No, I would strongly advise against that. I don't think overthink this. I think it's narrowed down from 3 possible choices to 2.
There we go. Guys, thanks for listening in to The Final Plan. So do share the podcast with any other FPL playing friends, family, colleagues that you want to do worse, because our advice is not always the most helpful. I love it when people tweet us and say, you helped me get to a rank of. I'm like, I can't help. How can I can't help myself get to a rank of like 20k?
That's always what I want to say. Can you help me now?
Yeah, it's like, if our advice was that good, surely we would be doing a bit better ourselves. But there you go. We'd appreciate it if you share or subscribe or like the podcast. Any comments on SoundCloud and YouTube as well are welcome. Other than that, we'll be back next week with a ton of content. There is a midweek game week next week, sponsored by Amazon Prime, where you can buy all your Christmas. We're not getting any money from Amazon, are we?
No, mate.
Oh, fine.
Definitely not.
Someone email Amazon and get them to sponsor the show when Amazon games are on. So we've got 2 full podcasts next week coming out for people, as well as the regular Sky Fantasy Football rundown. And of course, Tottenham.
Yeah, no clash of the correspondence next week because of the fixture congestion. So we'll be main podcasting Monday and Thursday.
There we go. Other than that, ciao for now.
Good luck, everyone. Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.